Right, so if I can find the drone, then I'm going to do a little drone review today. Actually, I've been practicing and testing out this new little drone, which is a budget drone. It's got some good points and some bad points, but I managed to lose control of it and crash it when it was doing its track test, and it's somewhere in these trees. It's going to be fun. Right, luckily I found the drone. It wasn't too deep in the bushes because it was all brambles. I'm just out of my jeans at the moment, so that wouldn't be ideal. I'm going to go over the spec of the drone back home, what you get and what it does. Show you some of the footage that I've taken today, and then give you my final thoughts on it. So this is the Holystone HS720E drone. Now this does not have a gimbal, but it has an electronic image stabilization system. It shoots in 4K. It has a full 90-degree adjustable angle camera, so it will drop directly below you, unlike the Ruko that I've got. It has follow me, but I will come on to that in a minute, and also point of interest, where it will circle around any object, in theory, that you want it to. Outside of the box you get a very nice carry case. Feels a really decent bit of kit. Double zip. And inside here you have at the top zip section. I've put these in here, so I don't know whether they should go in here or not. This is your charger. You get 2 batteries with the drone, and the batteries attached to here. These are a bit fiddly. They literally go into those prongs and you have to leave them balanced on a flat surface. If they're not quite flat, one will lift up and it will disconnect and it won't charge. These lights come on here to tell you they're charging, so they'll flash green and then they'll go permanent green once they're fully charged. It comes with a USB-C charger, although you can use any USB-C charger as long as it goes into the back of this charge point. Inside here you have your instructions, which is in multiple languages, and the usual warnings about using a drone, how and where you should use them. So inside here is the drone itself. You've got the remote controller for it, and then there is a box here, which inside there is a spare battery, and then you have a pack of spare propellers and screwdriver should you damage your props. Now the drone itself, this is not a sub 250 gram drone, so you will need to register this and get a license to fly it properly. It's fairly straightforward. You have a camera on the front here. Now this is not a gimbal camera, so although there is some movement stabilization on there, it's not a motorized gimbal, but it will drop down to 90 degrees, so it will film directly below itself, which is quite good. It has got an electronic image stabilization system on it, so it gives you a smoother picture when you're flying it. Very simple. Pull the legs out. SD memory card slot in here. So you've got onboard storage. On-off button is on the top. And on the bottom here, this is a sensor, and these are lights. So you can turn these lights on at night time. Now this has got they call it an optical airflow sensor, and it is designed for flying indoors when you haven't got GPS on, but it needs to have a monochrome surface, so it's got to be all one colour for it to be able to judge where it is. I'm not 100% sure how that works, or if it's any good, or even if it's useful, to be honest with you. It doesn't have legs, it just has these 4 pads, so it lays flat on its body, which I have found is pretty good, because my Ruko drone, which has got a leg on each front, if it's not on something that's completely stable, then it tilts it. So this, you've only got to find one small flat spot, which is pretty handy. The remote control, fairly straightforward, like most. This pulls out here. These are the antenna for the GPS signal. The bottom pulls out, so you've got handles to hold it, and the top pulls out so you can put your phone in. This does feel a bit flimsy. You've got to really yank it out and then fold this down to get your phone in. And what I have found is that these antennae seem to sort of get in the way while you're doing it as well, so it's a bit fiddly, but it will fit a large phone. I've got my Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra, which is one of the largest you can get, and it does go in there, so it does work, just not as well as some others. The controls, you can set these differently, but this is your up and down, spin left and spin right, and then move forward, move backwards, and then your left and right as well. To turn it on, you simply press this button and then slide that over. Now on the screen here, you've got mode down here, high. You can have high or low. So if I press and hold this top button here, which is either for the lights underneath drone, if you press it once, or if you press and hold it, it changes from fast to slow mode. So that will give you a slower movement on the drone, which gives you better picture quality. It's smoother, the moves are less aggressive. It then shows you battery power on the unit itself. This is not rechargeable. You put in AA batteries in the back. It then shows your drone battery power, obviously it's not connected at the moment, and then these two bars here are your signals. It then shows your distance away from you and your height, and it shows that the GPS is on. And there's a button on the side here, so you can turn GPS on or off. There is a one-step takeoff button, so you can press that and it will automatically take off. Otherwise, if you press the lock button, it will actually just start the motors, and they'll just start to turn, and then you can take off pushing that button up, or you can use that one. This is a return to home button, so if you wanted to immediately return to home, which I missed on my last flight, and I could have done with remembering where that was, but I got in a panic. So that button there will hit you return to home. However, on the screen on your phone, when you've got it connected, it has all the controls on there that shows you how the drone works and how you can control it using the phone instead of using this section here. On the top, you've got a button. If you press it once, it'll take a picture. Press and hold it, it will record a video. There is a scroll wheel on here which doesn't do anything, so I don't know why it's there. This scroll wheel will tilt the camera angle down and up accordingly. The app is the Ophelia Go app. You just scan the QR code in the book, and then you can go into the device from there. So on here, as you can see, you would normally have the visuals of the drone itself. This section here you go into, and it has the follow me mode, and then you've got the orbit mode, and then headless mode. I don't really understand what headless mode is. Anyway, the follow me mode is not like my Ruko. It does not move the actual drone. It only tilts the drone, so it will follow you that way. I've tried it a few times, doesn't seem to work on a GPS basis. It will just tilt and pan, so it will just pan left and right and follow you. The orbit flight mode, I'll put the video on the screen now. It just says to have it within 10 meters of you, press orbit, and it goes round. It did not go around me. It did a sort of a spiral, and it went out and lost me in the picture. The Ruko drone, you can position it above what you want it to go around, anything, be it a tree or yourself. Press the buttons, it locks that position, and then you move away from it, and then you press the spiral and the orbit, and it will go around that particular object that you have actually hovered above in the first place. So this doesn't seem to work the same way. Controls up here, as you can see, it says not connected, but it shows it will show the battery power of the drone, of the remote, your signal strength, and then settings. You can go in and change the settings on this, so you can have change your orbit mode, maximum flight distance, so it defaults to certain things, and you've got metric imperial options on it, and you've got beginner and expert mode. So beginner mode, you can change everything, so you can change the distance of how far the orbit is, your maximum flight distance, etc, etc. Compass calibration, pretty standard. As per most drones, you just turn it 3 times and then turn it up and turn it 3 times, and again that will calibrate the compass. On here you've got an automatic home button, so return to home. That will obviously bring it back to you, and that works extremely well. Again, I'll show you a little video of it here as it comes down. It dropped down literally to the point where I took off, so that works extremely well. And then you've got an auto takeoff button as well, so you can use the phone to do both. Here you've got take a picture or take a video, either or. And then if you press your play button, it takes you into, play button takes you into your storage on the drone itself. So there's the videos that I took earlier today. There's also Google Maps down here, so you can see where it is. This did come in handy because I lost the drone. and it went into some thick brush woodland. What I tried was the headless mode, which I believe is where you can just choose it to go a route. It was actually showing a little option down here, and if you press it, you then choose to go into the route that you want to. So I set it along a track, and it deviated completely, went straight over a barbed wire fence, straight into a tree, crashed and burned. So that didn't work very well, in all honesty. From the main menu, you've got help, you've got guidance, and you've got your gallery. So you've got your photos and then your videos that you've taken, so you can look back at those. It automatically stores it on your phone as well as on the SD card as well. So basically, it is a budget drone. It's £299, and I'm comparing it to what I'm used to, which is my Ruko F11 Gim 2 drone, which is £500. So it's £200 more than that. But at the moment, there's a deal on the Rukos, and they are £399. So it's only £100 more, and you get a considerable amount more for your money. Now, what I have found is it flies really nice. Don't get me wrong, it's easy to control. It is more of a beginner's drone. It's smooth, it's got 2 speed levels. Now, the issues with it, one is the speed level. If you have it on fast, when you accelerate, the nose dips as it accelerates, which is what drones do because the power is pushing from behind. Because it hasn't got a gimbal on it, it is fully electronically stabilized, which is fine when it's flying. It's actually pretty good. But as soon as you turn or move, the camera goes with the movement. So you'll accelerate away, the front nose will dip down, and you're looking at the ground instead of where you want to see. So you have to lift the gimbal up while you're going and hopefully not hit anything. Obviously this has not got any obstacle avoidance on it. It is not that level of drone. So don't get me wrong, this is not comparing to the likes of a DJI Mini 3 Pro, for example. So if you then change it to slow, you don't get that dip because it's not as powerful. So you get a nice smooth picture. It looks fine, it doesn't dip down, and also when you stop in fast mode, it backs back up like that. So you go from ground to sky, you get a sudden stop on your filming, which is not ideal. Yes, you could edit it and change it and cut it out, but ideally you don't want it to be there in the first place. So you put it in slow mode, you don't get that dipping and that sudden lurch coming up. The downside of slow mode, it's incredibly slow. I would be a bit concerned with battery power and how far away it is. Obviously you could change it to high mode if you need to come back. But talking of distance, now the Ruko I think has a 2 kilometre range. 3 occasions with this drone I went probably, I don't know, 100, 150 metres and I lost signal. Couldn't control the drone, couldn't turn it, couldn't change the camera, at least not that I could see on the screen. It was actually turning and moving, but it didn't do an automatic return to home when it lost signal, which is a bit worrying, because obviously if it doesn't do an automatic return to home, you've lost signal, so you can't return it to home. Now I thought it did an automatic return home when it lost signal. Apparently it does it when the battery gets low. I haven't got that low yet, so that was a bit of a worry. I ended up walking, because I only just lost signal, I walked 30-40 yards and it picked signal up again, and then I could turn the drone around and bring it back, or hit return to home. The return to home seems to work pretty well. It literally landed directly at the point of takeoff, so I was quite impressed with that. You can change a lot of settings in the background to how high you want it to return to home on the way back. Obviously you need to make sure that you're avoiding any obstacles, because it will take a straight line. So if you've gone behind any trees, it will fly straight into those trees. So you need to set the height relevant to it. Again, going back to the gimbal, the lack of gimbal, when you pan, tilt, move up and down, and even when you go sideways or it hits some wind, I noticed when it was high up, suddenly the angle of the camera will tilt and you don't get the horizon level. So the video quality is good, but the actual composition, the final product is not as good as the Ruko. because that has a 3-axis gimbal on it. So no matter where that drone is moving, the gimbal stays straight and level with the horizon. So you can pan sideways, you can do whatever you want, and you won't lose that horizon level with the gimbal. Overall, for £299, would I buy it? No. I'd spend another £100 to get the Ruko. If budget is no question, then yeah, and get the DJI Mavic Pro 3 and spend £800 or £900, which maybe one day I might get, because I do like that drone. But yeah, for a budget drone, it's okay. I'm not sure I'd spend £300 on it because it's not a toy drone. This is designed to do quality filming, decent height, decent distance. You know, it's got digital stabilization, electronic stabilization on it. You have a 4K camera, and you don't have those things on a toy kids drone. So it sort of wants to be a big boy drone, but it's not there. If it was £100, yeah, bargain price. For £300, £100 more, you get the Ruko, and the Ruko is a much better drone. Don't get me wrong, the Ruko is not perfect, but it is £499 or currently £399. So yeah, it's definitely worth the extra £100 with the Ruko. If you've got any thoughts on drones and what drones you've got and how good they are in comparison to something like this, I'd be very interested to hear your feedback, so stick it in the comment section below. I'm always interested to see what other people have got and how they find it. Obviously I can only test my equipment or what gets sent to me, so it'd be good to find out what you guys use if you do use a drone, other than the normal DJI, because we all know how good they are. So I hope you found this video a little bit informative with another option for a drone. Should you want one for a bit of fun that takes actually decent quality video footage, but isn't the best for sort of a semi-pro type of a drone that it's aiming to be. Yeah, hopefully the video was informative for you, and if it was, then as always, hit the thumbs up, and if you're not a subscriber, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you guys on the next one with a new tent review.